I would like to know more about it. I'm hoping maybe she puts a book out where I can actually sit down, read the book, and then study it and make notes and go from there. The one concern I do have with her is that she's going to be eventually categorized within the flat earth theory crowd. That's a major psyop in and of itself. But now we're talking about today. And as you said earlier, there is being different distances. And that actually is something I mentioned.
And supposedly they got more accurate reads now, so they claim they landed the laser reflectors there with the first mission by putting laser reflectors and
make it so. There it is. There's the spike. 2.5 seconds for the light to return. That's the moon. We hit the moon.
And presumably the idea is that they would send a signal back to Earth and they could measure the distance very accurately back in 1969. And yet, in 1980 or 81, whenever the Kubrick film came out, they were saying the Earth was 238,000 miles from the moon. And you would think that if they've got these lasers, they would be able to work out the distance with the lasers back in 69. So we should have had it accurately back in 69 from the word go, I would have thought.
Well, I think you just answered your own question. You would think, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And the other thing is that for those out there that don't realize this, Both the Soviets at the time, the Soviet Union and the Americans, were bouncing lasers off the moon as early as 1961, 62. Both the Soviets at the time, the Soviet Union and the Americans, were bouncing lasers off the moon as early as 1961, 62. And they were getting fairly good results and some good accuracy as well. So the argument that the Apollo missions happened because they put laser reflectors on the moon is really a fallacy. It just doesn't hold up, because the areas that they target those lasers happen to be the areas on the moon where they're most reflective.
That's it, is it?
And that just happens to be the areas where they landed all 6 missions, supposedly landed all 6 missions. And what amazes me is that these geologists and they, work for established institutions haven't really figured this part out yet. And yet we as lay people have. So, again, this is in the book for people who are really interested in diving into it. And the other thing also with laser reflectors is that they can be easily placed there by unmanned missions, which the Soviets have done, and so have the Americans. So it's just another fallacy for me.
I mean, it's such a tiny, tiny little 2-foot across little box that they got to somehow hit from presumably a wide beam by the time it is. It's going to be hitting all sorts of things, moon rock, dust, and all sorts of things. I mean, it's such a tiny, tiny little 2-foot across little box that they got to somehow hit from presumably a wide beam by the time it is. It's going to be hitting all sorts of things, moon rock, dust, and all sorts of things. So you're going to get lots of things bouncing back. So
Yeah,